And away we go, it's the last time, oh buddy boy. This is the Herks and Harry Show, and I'm Herks.
And I'm Harry.
And it's all brought to you by those magnificent men in their flying machine. But I want to tell you first about my partner, Harry Lyons. Is another little advertiser, cartoonist, and bon vivant. I just got it out.
And my partner, Bob Herkes, is editor, publisher, and chief bartender for the Billfish Bull, and also a noted saloon keeper.
And like I said, the whole mess is brought to you by those magnificent men in their flying machines.
That's right, Bob, and that's why we've hired at great expense this 101-piece Royal Hawaiian Band to play those magnificent men in their flying machines. To remind you that Johnny Peacock and his crew down at Royal Hawaiian Air Service are indeed that magnificent men in their flying machines. They've got the newest up-to-date equipment, beautiful Cessna 310s, very experienced pilots, and they know all about the islands. They'll take you on the wildest tour of these islands you've ever seen. They'll take you over here by way of Point Barrow, Alaska, the Honduras, Yucatan, Tokyo, and any way you want to go, they've got the route. They've got very flexible schedules. We're only kidding about that. Actually, they're very fast, Bob, as you know. They've got wonderful, moderate prices, and they'll fit their schedule to your convenience. And that's why we always fly over by Royal Hawaiian Air Service, and I know you do too, and that's why more and more people are flying that way. So to get a hold of them, you call the Royal Hawaiian Air Service at 259-775.
Absolutely right, Harry. We've got some good friends down there. And of course, we're also brought to you by Inner Island Resorts, Dudley Child's family of fine hotels, the Kona Inn, the Kauai Surf, and the Naniloa, and the Kuala Lumpur Biltmore, as we've mentioned before. Harry, it's been a great tournament.
Boy, what a tournament. What an ending, huh?
What a show.
What a show. What a show.
This is our last one, folks. We hope to be back with you next year.
Right.
Well, I think while we're here, we ought to at least tell you how the thing ended up, as long as we've been giving you some news about it for a week. And the magnificent, startling finish last night, Kimberly, from the West Palm Beach, Florida team fishing club, came in with a beautiful fish, 809-pounder.
That's right. I'm glad you looked that up in the paper.
That's well, I just wanted to check my facts. Which set a tournament record for the largest fish ever caught in this tournament by 5 pounds or 4 pounds, somewhere in between there.
Right.
This combined with the fish he had earlier gave his team, I should say, a grand total of 1,329 points, which, as I recall, is also a new record for the tournament. So we had a record tournament, old boy.
Right, and that's not all. Before you list the rest of the standings, you might mention the ahi, which a world record.
Oh, that's right, a world's record ahi by Rufus Spaulding Jr., who came in, and I think it's a magnificent fishing feat. 240-pound ahi on 50-pound test line. He broke Roger Martin's record, which I believe was 207 pounds, set in 1960. Really quite a feat. And then his son, Rufus Spaulding III, of course, that gave Rufus the Jim Harvey Memorial Award, which is based on individuals. So Rufus walked off of that one easily. And then his son, Rufus Spaulding III, caught or had ahi points of 358, which put him in second place, 1 and 2. And this, of course, is a team that won the won the tournament last year. So they've been really magnificent men in their boating machine, fishing machine.
They're a tremendous family.
And Dorothy Hooper, of course, in third place. And back to the main side of the Billfish tournament, we've got the Conemaugh Trollers, who were in contention all week long with Freddie Rice and Aka Hodgins and Sally Rice, and they came in with 760 points. In third place, old friends of ours, Patty and George Hogue from the Balboa California Angling Club with 677 points. Fourth place, another Kona team. They did well, taking 2 out of the first 4 places. Conemaugh Trollers with Ian Bowman, 643 points. And then the last one we'll list is the Hawaii Big Game Fishing Club, Hawaii team. Lon Priest was the big angler there, 616 points. Well, let's take it one more. Isaac Walton, League of America, Walnut Creek, California, Tom and Maggie Gardner, 566 points.
You know, Bob, if you don't mind me interrupting, one other thing that I thought was interesting late today, just as before we went on the air, a huge marlin was caught by a young fellow, Shigeki Kageyama, I believe. Is that the right name?
That's right, Shigeki Kageyama.
And he is a young boy who is here from Japan and is taking a hotel training course at the East-West Center. And as far as I can find out right now, he has never been out for real big game fish before. He's a very small boy. He's only about 120 pounds or something like that. And he brought in a 670-pound marlin, which is kind of interesting, Bob. This often happens the day after the tournament or the day before or something, but this would have been the second biggest fish in the tournament.
That's right. Remember last year our friend George Hogan, he came in with an 800-pounder and almost missed the final banquet.
That's right.
Well, this young fellow, fortunately, Harry, Jim Conway was out filming. We had him on earlier. And so you'll see this beautiful fish later in the year on the Outdoor Sportsman, because fortunately Jim was there, as I understand, at the gaff and at the weighing, and that should be interesting for
Oh, I
for
think it's
folks.
going to be great.
Well, and the other things you can think about to talk about as far as the scoring of the fish, it was great. It was good, clean fishing most of the way. Of course, unfortunately, we had two disqualifications, but I think the rules were clear, and it is a good thing to keep the tournament clean and really make them live up to the rules.
Well, I thought it was particularly nice, Bob. There was a little, not grumbling, but a little kind of sadness on the part of a lot of the people connected with the tournament and with the press in that it was a fairly slow tournament, actually, to be honest about it. After the first day, which wasn't too bad, the second day was fair. Then, of course, we had on Thursday a very poor total of 3 marlin, and it's particularly nice. Oh, sounds like they brought another marlin in.
Oh yeah, listen to that, boy. Either
But-
that or somebody got married.
I thought it was awfully good to end the tournament this way. I know the press felt that way. Everybody was elated, and I know Pete Fithian and everybody connected with the tournament was awfully happy that this happened. It certainly leaves a very good taste in the mouths of everybody concerned with the tournament. So I think it was a great ending.
It was a dramatic finish. Just great, just great. But let's talk a little bit about some of the guests we've had, Harry. We've had some good ones on
We've had
this
some
week.
great guests, and of course, Herks and Harry would like to thank very much. I try to list them all. I hope I don't forget anybody. Jim Conway from the northwest of the mainland, a very noted name, was kind enough to come by and talk to us a long time and gave us some very interesting insights into the tournament and into fishing in general. We were fortunate to have Dave Nottage, who's a skipper and in his own right a very good fisherman. He came and gave us views from everything from fishing to cribbage. George Wooler was most interesting from New Zealand. One of the world's, I guess, great fishermen, Bob, really. I know he's got a hat, a fishing hat that he wears that's got, I noticed, 6 fish on there, metal fish. And one of them is a world record, which is gold with emerald eyes and so on, or diamond eyes. He's got a national record in New Zealand. The rest are all top fish in their individual tournaments. And I guess this guy has caught as many fish as anybody you'd want to talk to.
One of the fine anglers and sportsmen in the world.
And he's a very, very fine guy. These are all busy people. And another guy that came by and talked to us is Marty Franich, who, of course, represents Northern California for the Billfish Tournament Committee. And he was most interesting. We had Dick McMillan, who is an executive with the Hawaii Visitors Bureau, and he gave us a little insight into the handling of the press. We had Paul Kendall, who has a similar job with Pan American. He's director of publicity for Pan American. He came by, and I thought he was wonderful. He, incidentally, is the only one of all our guests that caught a fish.
That's right, on the cruise boat.
On the cruise boat. And Paul, we shouldn't admit this, but he is quoted as saying he hates fishing, but he was the only one who caught a fish, so maybe there's a message there for all of us. And then last but not least, I think perhaps at least our funniest guest was Kent Bowman, who is an executive with Castle and Cook, I guess it is here.
Right.
And that must be one of our.
It's a hot flash coming in from Kuala Lumpur here.
And he was just great and very funny. He's got a new record with Hula Records coming out very shortly, and is a wonderful guy. And I just want to thank all of them in general for coming by and.
Kent gave us that very interesting lesson on chumming in the
That's right.
Chilean bar with money, as I recall.
That's right, through the Whalers Bar.
Through the whalers bar with money.
So I just let's thank them right now, Bob, because we do appreciate it. We couldn't have done a show without it, really.
By golly, I think that you ought to give them a little blast on the
And
Herks and
so,
Harry.
thanks
there.
to all of those guys.
Oh, thanks.
That's for them.
Thank you, friends. Now let's talk a little bit about our Herks and Harry hero of the day and hero of the week. Harry, you want to lead it off with a couple of these things here that
Right,
happened?
Bob. Well, you know, we hate to give Splash Gartley all his publicity, but I don't think anybody has actually topped Splash for all-around flair and what he did getting
no
caught.
questionable.
We've gone through that a lot, but this year there were a few kind of interesting ones. One was when a guy lost the first day. It started out a little slow, and the guy lost his harness and rod and reel overboard, and he was our hero of the day that day. Then we had on the Cutty Sark, which is an interesting name for a boat and a good name for booze. They caught a Christmas tree, which I thought was pretty good. They understand it was a world record in this class, which was Norfolk pine.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
And Mrs. Martha Wood caught a bamboo fishing pole, and they disqualified that one because it was broken in the middle.
That's right. It did not qualify as a world's record bamboo fishing pole.
It was a mutilated pole.
catch. The rules are very clear in that regard.
But Bob, these were all not really the angler's faults or anything else, and they were kind of fun and everything else. But I think for a change, maybe I feel that we have a kind of a serious quote hero of the week, and maybe you could explain that.
Yeah, Harry, this one was a little sad, and I don't think it added to the luster of the tournament at all. We did have a little boat up here that was as a part of the charter pool, and the crew on board seemed to pay a little more attention to their nocturnal activities than they did taking care of our fine friends from places like Australia, New Zealand, Kenya, and so on and so forth. They've come a long, long ways to fish at considerable expense and do add considerably to our tournament. They talked to one of the teams that fished with them. They were very disappointed in the fact that they weren't on their toes. I don't know how else to describe it.
George, actually, and wonderful people, George and Patty Hogue, who aren't about to go about and knock anybody, did complain, and not for publication. They didn't put us off the record or anything, but they weren't trying to get us to air it. But they don't gripe, and they had this particular captain and crew, and they were very, very disappointed in the way they acted. Apparently, there was drinking involved and things like that. And then, of course, the Australian team was due to go out with them the following day with the same Honolulu crew, and
well, the boat didn't go out at all. It just they finally just ruled that they weren't up to taking the boat out, and as a result, one of our teams wasn't able to fish the final day, which I think was very tragic and very sad.
Well, it was sad because it happened to be the Navy team, which had had a very tough break and losing their boat earlier in the week, and they were scheduled to go on the standby boat, the Alele, and that boat had to take the Australians. So this managed to screw up both, two teams anyway. So it's just too bad. But and I hate to make light of it, but they get the Herks and Harry Hero of the Tournament
Well,
Award.
they sure do, and I hope we don't have another one like that.
I don't think we will. Not that team anyway.
Okay, let's hope that next year we have another hero like Freddie Gartley, because he was always fun anyway.
Right.
Well, Harry, next year, the tournament's back here at the Kona Inn as headquarters, and we're tickled to death about that, where we can be publishing the Billfish Bowl and on home territory. And hey, we ought to say something about this radio station we're on. They've been giving us good help.
Yeah, station KONA has been just great, and we've enjoyed very much their cooperation along with everybody else connected with the station. Carol, what is Carol?
Carol Moe.
Carol Moe
Right.
has been very nice to give this time to us, and we've enjoyed it a great deal. And so I think, we just like to say thanks to them too.
Thank you, and let's hear it again for radio station KONA.
Right.
Let's give him a little Herks and Harry boo 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 boo, shall we? Where's our instrument? Hey, who do we give that thing to now the show's over?
I don't know. That horn's got to go someplace. But anyway, thanks an awful lot, and we'd like to thank again Royal Hawaiian Air Service for being with us and helping us to bring this program to you.
Laugh at the Kona Inn.
And if you've got any suggestions about how we can improve the program, please send them to Kuala Lumpur.
Send them to Kuala Lumpur, because what you may decide is we shouldn't have it at all,
So thanks to the Kona Inn Inter-Isle Resorts and Johnny Peacock and his magnificent men down there at Royal Hawaiian Air Service, 259775, for helping us be with you.
And this, Harry, being our shortest show, is probably our best.
Right, Bob. Okay, we'll see you all next year.
Yes, sir.